highly a developed tudam. Segar younger nozaran ver yal altala. So hello everyone. What you just heard was something very dear to my heart, something I've been working on for the last 4 years, the language I've been creating. So people always look at me funny when I tell them, oh, I create my own languages for fun, and it's something I'm passionate about. And it's always made me wonder. I've gotten used to it because I've been creating my own languages for at least the last 5 years when I was here at RM, and now currently in college at the University of Maryland for the thesis for my honors program. Anywho, I've always wondered, why do people think it's so weird that I create my own languages? How is this different from, say, if I told them I was a painter, or a poet, or a musician? And I think a big part of it is simply that creating your own languages, or conlanging, as it's called, is just not a common hobby. Most people just don't do that. They've never heard of that. However, I think there's something a lot deeper and something a lot more fundamental that separates what I do from what, say, a normal painter does or a normal poet does. And I think that has to do with the nature of language itself. For most people, language is sort of a bastion. It's something very fundamental. It's crucial to everything we do, and it's something we've always had, we've been born with, and it's something we're used to having and used to using. However, and I think that causes people to be a little afraid with the idea that you can somehow just create languages out of nowhere. However, I'm here to tell you, as a major in linguistics and a hopeful linguist one day, that language is infinitely flexible, not only within itself as a coherent system, but on a much more fundamental level. We, as human beings, are language-using creatures. And not just language, and we are such language-using creatures that I would say that is the defining characteristic of what it means to be a human being. In fact, we are so defined by our ability to use language that we can create languages out of literally nothing. The example that linguists always like to bring up about this fact is there was this deaf school in Nicaragua, and all the children that came to the school, they're all 4, 5, 6 years old, and none of them had ever had any experience with any language. Since they were deaf, they couldn't learn Spanish, which was the language they would learn if they were hearing. And because most of them came from rural areas, there was simply no sign language for them to learn. So they were functionally without language. However, within a year of being at this school, these children literally spontaneously generated their own completely functional language out of nothing. And I think if nothing speaks to the testament of how important language is, that is. And as such, we as human beings are defined by our ability to use language. Now, that brings up a very interesting question. If something as fundamental as language is subject to our creative whims and our creative passions, is there anything that isn't? If no aspect of our existence is safe from our creative energies, is there nothing in our lives we can't shape? Is there nothing we can't bend to the creative power of our will? And that's what I've learned from creating my own language. Something a lot more fundamental than just fun facts about world languages or fun facts about linguistics, or even a very useful, deeper understanding of how languages work. What I've learned is a lesson about life itself and the nature of life. And what I've learned is that every aspect of life, no matter how fundamental it seems, is up to you. You have the power to create it as you will. And, in short, life itself, and everything we think and everything we do, is thus a form of art. And we, me, you, everyone in the audience, we are the creators. I'd like to conclude by saying your life, and my life, and everyone's life is a blank canvas. And it's up to you, and only you, to create it. I would like to end with a proverb from my language that I've created. Orazordinde nine taidi elane elazach orelandui, which means, as the great poets say, life is art, so live beautifully. Thank you. Merci. Gracias. Danke. And I would say thank you in Dothraki, but there is no word for thank you in Dothraki. Thank you.